What if I told you that the richest people on earth don't use the same banks as the rest of us? They're not lining up at your local branch worrying about ATM fees or settling for 0.01% interest on a savings account. No, billionaires live in a different financial universe, one with discrete institutions that operate far from the public eye. These are not your everyday banks. They're secretive, selective, and engineered specifically to multiply and protect enormous wealth. In this video, we'll take you behind the velvet curtain into a world of banking that few even know exists. We'll explore the names and locations of these elite institutions, the exclusive services they offer, and how these banks help the ultra-wealthy lower taxes, dodge economic risks, and unlock investments that regular people never even hear about. And yes, we'll talk about whether it's even possible for someone like you to ever access them. Welcome to the channel where luxury isn't just a fantasy, it's a formula. If you love videos about how the rich really live, think, and grow their empires, don't forget to subscribe and tap that bell icon. Now, let's dive into the secret banks that only billionaires use. What are secret banks? When we say secret banks, we're not talking about illegal operations hidden in remote bunkers. These are fully legal, highly prestigious financial institutions, often older, wealthier, and more stable than the banks most people use. The term secret comes from their exclusivity. These private banks do not advertise. They don't offer online sign-ups. In fact, you can't even walk in without an invitation or a referral. Some of the names in this elite circle include JP Morgan, Private Bank, Goldman Sachs, Private Wealth Management, UBS Global Family Office, LGT Group, which is owned by the royal family of Liechtenstein, Rothschild and Company, and the centuries-old Pictet Bank in Switzerland. These institutions serve what's known as ultra-high net worth individuals, usually people with over $30 million in liquid assets. To be clear, these banks are not just inaccessible because of the money. They're also selective about the type of clients they take. They act like luxury clubs, accepting only the wealthiest, most discreet, and best connected individuals. Simply put, if you have to ask to join, you're probably not getting in. Why you can't just walk in? Let's say you won the lottery and walked away with $5 million. You might think it's time to open an account at one of these prestigious banks. But here's the harsh truth. Most of them still wouldn't accept you. Many of these banks require a minimum of $10 million just to be considered, while firms like Goldman Sachs, Private Wealth, and Citi Private Bank often have entry points closer to $25 million. Beyond just the cash requirement, these banks look for what they call the right fit. That usually means you come with a strong referral, a history of financial success, and ideally, a reputation for discretion. These institutions aren't looking for flashy one-time millionaires. They want long-term partners, people who intend to grow their wealth across generations, not just spend it. What do these banks actually do? So what makes these banks so special? The answer lies in their services, all of which go far beyond anything offered at a typical commercial bank. First, there's wealth structuring and tax optimization. These banks don't just hold money, they help their clients legally restructure it to avoid unnecessary taxes and risks. That could involve setting up offshore trusts, creating international holding companies, or using complex foundations to minimize tax exposure. A billionaire might have a trust in Jersey, an LLC in Luxembourg, and a subsidiary in Singapore, all working together to reduce their global tax burden. Second, these banks offer access to bespoke investment opportunities. Forget ETFs and index funds. Clients here get early access to pre-IPO stock, private equity deals with firms like Blackstone, real estate syndicates for luxury hotels and skyscrapers, and even investments in blue-chip art. The next time you see a $100 million Basquiat painting, remember, it might have been acquired through a blind trust managed by one of these banks. Third, they provide global banking and offshore capabilities. These institutions have branches in financial havens like Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Singapore, Monaco, and the Cayman Islands. Each location offers unique advantages, from strong privacy laws to favorable tax regulations. And many of their clients have multiple passports or residency statuses to make full use of these financial benefits. Lastly, clients get full service teams that include tax lawyers, estate planners, personal concierge managers, and philanthropy strategists. Need a last-minute yacht rental for a private Mediterranean getaway? Or legal advice on passing $300 million to your heirs tax-free? One call handles it all. Where are these banks located? Most of these elite banks operate in a handful of global financial centers designed for privacy and wealth preservation. Switzerland has long been the crown jewel. With a banking history that spans centuries, institutions like Credit Suisse, Private, Julius Baer, and Pictet are known for their secrecy and discretion. Switzerland's strict privacy laws have made it a go-to hub for royalty, celebrities, and entrepreneurs seeking to shield their wealth. Liechtenstein is another hotspot. The royal family actually owns LGT Group, one of the most exclusive banks in Europe. Known for their asset protection services and deep expertise in multi-generational wealth planning, banks here attract some of the world's most powerful dynasties. Singapore is a rising star, particularly for Asian and Middle Eastern billionaires. Known for its political stability, strong legal system, and low corruption, Singapore hosts private banks like DBS and UOB Privilege Banking, offering a modern and tech-savvy approach to elite finance. London remains a powerhouse for European and Middle Eastern wealth. Barclays Wealth and HSBC Private cater to billionaires who enjoy the city's international business ecosystem, while leveraging the UK's favorable non-domicile tax laws. And in the US, institutions like Morgan Stanley, Private Wealth Management, Goldman Sachs, and Citi Private Bank dominate New York and Miami, two cities where America's richest quietly grow their empires. Real-world examples. Take the Rothschild banking dynasty. They've been handling wealth strategies for royal families, heads of state, and tycoons for centuries. Rothschild & Company specializes in ultra-discreet mergers, acquisitions, and generational wealth planning. Their client list is so confidential, it's said even most employees don't know who they work for, or consider art investing. Some private banks help billionaires invest in artwork not through direct ownership, but via special purpose vehicles, SPVs. That way, a Picasso or Monet becomes a financial asset, and one that can appreciate, be used as loan collateral, or be passed down without triggering major taxes. Family offices are another specialty. Institutions like UBS Global Family Office build entire financial ecosystems for their clients, designing systems that can manage wealth for children, grandchildren, and even future generations not yet born. This isn't about getting rich, it's about staying rich forever. Why do billionaires use these banks? The ultra-rich use these banks for 5 key reasons. First, privacy. These institutions shield identities, structure accounts under shell companies or trusts, and ensure wealth remains behind legal walls. Second, protection. Whether it's political instability, lawsuits, or economic crashes, these banks specialize in safeguarding assets. Third, performance. Exclusive investments almost always outperform what's available to the general public. When billionaires make money, it's often because they have access we don't. Fourth, philanthropy. Many use these banks to build charitable foundations that reduce tax liability while increasing social influence. And fifth, power. These banks don't just hold money, they open doors. Networking events, investment co-ops, and access to global leaders are part of the experience. Can you ever access these banks? The truth? Most people won't ever qualify to open an account at these banks, but that doesn't mean you should give up. Start by building serious wealth. That means scaling businesses, investing smartly, and creating multiple income streams. Learn how to hold assets under LLCs and set up early-stage trusts. Open international brokerage accounts. Study laws in countries like Singapore, Monaco, and Switzerland. And think long-term. It is not just about making millions, it's about preserving and multiplying it. These banks aren't featured in commercials, they don't want fame, they're built for discretion, power, and permanence. While most people bank out of necessity, billionaires bank for domination. If you found this video insightful, you're just scratching the surface. We've got more deep dives coming soon on family offices, tax havens, offshore investing, and how the rich move silently while growing massively. So do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next.